Hello there everyone and welcome back. It is time to put the last of the factions behind us here, and although I've had a lot of fun experimenting with the frigate heavy type of fleet, there's still more to be done, it goes without saying, since I already mentioned when I start off with the Corsairs that I'm planning on trying to get competitive or at least take the Season 3 ranked ladder a little more seriously when the patch and the reset eventually happens. And the other thing I have in mind, should that be delayed or take a little bit longer than usual, I am going to look into specific fleet strategies and kind of try to look into dissecting them and understand their strengths and everything like that a little more in depth with all these styles, as opposed to the broad centric kind of description in videos I've been doing before as I've been going over all 12 of these factions. So look forward to those. But with that all said and done, I am going to play more with the triple Falls here. I almost called them Eclipse again, damn it, since that's what I'm so used to in Armada 1, since they literally called both the battlecruiser variants of the ship the Eclipse. One was just called the Eclipse Vaul variant for all intents and purposes, and it's kind of the same with the Shadow here with his Kurnos pattern. So, nonetheless, I really do like the potential of this fleet. The three cruisers technically capture objectives at the same speed as the Voidstalker, which I really like just due to the misdirection that it provides to my opponents. And never mind the fact that both these fleets that include a Voidstalker and the Three Falls, I do enjoy quite immensely, and they synergize pretty well just with that misdirection front. So let's continue on with this, and while I was contemplating going with an all frigate type of fleet, the points don't really line up the best. It's kind of awkward, needless to say. Actually, let me just demonstrate that. Is what, 6 Auroras is the closest we can get. So as you can see here, I have 58 points left over, and it makes it really damn awkward to try and squeeze anything else in here, unless I want to downgrade to a bunch of Nightshades, which only have like the torpedoes going for them and not really any pulsars. So in all honesty, that's kind of what the Shadow fits in perfectly there, which is what I was experimenting with before, but it wasn't meant to be, I suppose, unless I want to cut back on even more Hellbore, which I still think the fact that they can deny losing their generators gives them a lot more resilience than meets the eye, I think. It goes without saying, especially with my last video I did with the kind of frigate and light cruiser heavy fleet, it is definitely difficult to multitask or at least micromanage such a fleet, especially if you want them to all hit the same target. But let's get this started. Okay, Azure versus Corsairs, and I kinda recognize the Void Weaver fella. When I went up against them with the Chaos Fleet in one of my previous streams, they were all torpedo-centric, I believe. But I think at one point they were also Double Phoenix. So, this could be anything. In theory, I should be better equipped for this, especially if they have pulsars. My holofield is exceptional at negating that kind of damage. And I do have these frigates as well, which should not suffer from tremendous critical hits. And I can easily, in theory, repair any fire assaults they might have too as a bonus. It comes down heavily to how well I can dodge the torpedoes though. That's ultimately what it comes down to, because this is just as awkward as fighting against all the other Eldari type of fleets, let's be serious. The big difference, of course, will be the fact I can see their fleet the entire time. It makes me wonder. I think I want to try Disruption Bomb. I don't know how likely it would be to get that. And Armor Piercing might be really good too, due to the close range we're probably going to be doing here as well. The Spear Crystal Lens is going to be enough. Disruption Bomb's not likely to hit them, but at the same time, Disruption Bomb kind of forces them to Wraithbone Shift, which I can follow up nicely to an extent with the Maelstrom. Stasis Bomb arguably would be better, but we know how tricky that's going to be to pincer down. Maybe I have Stasis Bomb and Maelstrom. Or no, Disruption Bomb and Stasis Bomb. I'm wondering about that. There's a lot of uncertainties here. But it goes without saying, I did not group you. So let's fix that.
Until the end.
And sadly, all these ships are grouping up in a gas cloud, so that's gonna... And I wasn't paying attention. Was that 4 ships? If that was 4 ships, then it's clearly 2 Phoenixes of some sort. So we're gonna have to make a note of that. They're really in a tight clump too. And I don't think they have the points to allow for frigates of any kind either.
We move together.
But I still want to prioritize these engines.
We serve. The void is our home.
Actually, can I just go? Is it possible to go way over there? It's going to be a bit of an awkward layout.
Taking new position.
And remains to be seen how I want to engage here, because I am separating my frigates too.
Swiftly.
Just because of that beacon placement, if nothing else.
Yes, Commander.
Otherwise, I'm not seeing any fighters of note. I did prioritize all the components.
As the fates decree.
So the sooner they get spread out, the better.
Setting sail.
Now I just want to reveal them, kind of make them... Actually, I can make them think there's something over here with the boost. Make them turn around conveniently. And it is a Phoenix, although...
Enemy in our sight.
So, it is double Phoenix, double Cruiser. Let's keep that in mind.
As the fates decree.
A convenient engine critical hit, that was lucky.
Swiftly.
It makes me wonder if, especially with the Phoenix, I should go after the generator, due to the sheer amount of engine components they have.
Until the end. Unseen and silent.
Oh, the fighters revealed you, okay.
Yes, Commander. Ride the solar winds.
So, can we get a good engagement is the big question.
Acknowledged. We move.
Because as soon as I start shooting at them, I could... Again, I should be really damn durable here, but losing frigates kind of for free is not part of the agenda.
Taking new position.
I do also want them to take the initial shots just because of their sheer durability.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Since I... Actually, let me grab this with a single frigate. That'll prompt them. Prompt a response out of them, and you have scanner pulse too.
As the fates decree. We move together.
And I can scanner pulse them at will at any time I wish to, but I need to go for a killing blow quickly for it to really matter.
We obey.
Here's a bit of the trick.
Yes, Commander. The void is our home. Tear them apart. Ride the solar winds.
Now, this might not go as I'm liking.
Ride the solar winds. Escort vessel.
What? Why the hell did you not turn around? I literally just false maneuver with you. That is really awkward for me. It goes without saying. And I just rammed needlessly too, which is a bit of a burden. Is my control groups messing up on me without my knowing? Because this should not be happening. This is against what I want. Especially since I'm in such a good position to maybe kill off these ships.
5% of strategic points.
Nah, this is a terrible... This is abysmal. This is sadly over already.
Enemy has accumulated 50%.
Only thing I could think of is there was a group order of some kind.
Setting sail.
But otherwise, I'm not happy with that exchange. That was bad. Since, like I said, I don't know what kind of hit points they have to spare.
The ship.
But, yeah. The fact that I lost my hull feels a big deal, though. That cost me a match single-handedly, so I'm wondering if I accidentally triggered that bug where your ships are kind of doing a group order following the ship you may have accidentally clicked on. Since I don't know what exactly happened there otherwise. Let's move on to the next match. Alas, I don't get a rematch like I would have dreamed of, since I feel like that was a poor display of the advantage I feel like I should have had in that matchup, since my 3 Vauls alone had technically the same health as both their cruisers, and almost the same amount as their battle cruiser, which would have, what, 400 health more than me? And then you can add on top of that the 6 frigates, which would have balanced out the hit pull ratio. What would have made it in my advantage otherwise, outside the frigates being immune to losing their generators and engines, is the fact that I have more firepower, so long as I can dodge the torpedoes. Their cruisers would have had only 3 pulsar cans, but I have that on top of all the star cans to kind of balance it in my favor. It just comes down heavily to me being able to keep the engagement against them, or keep pressuring them as it were. So I'm really bummed out I did not give you the match I would have wanted. Hopefully, that might get corrected later on, but still, I am a little bit baffled with what happened there. And it's like I said before, it may have been a group orders thing. Since there was a really tight clump, it's hard to really notice, but the move orders would have my ships flying towards whatever ship I had selected at the time. That would be the only way I could tell if that was the issue or not. Because hell, even my one falls maneuver, or at least one of my ships, did not actually turn around when I did my falls maneuver too, so it was really all messed up. And I got no excuse, or no idea what happened there. Otherwise, everything should be as it is. Yeah, I got nothing else to really say. Let's get going. Let's put that damn match behind us, as bitter as I am. And actually, let's just boost on forward and grab these objectives, since right now we're looking at possibly 5 Grand Cruisers. I'm gonna have to check how much shield health they have. If they have 400, it's probably not worth shooting down the generators. Hell, with the spear crystal lenses, I can kind of get away with not having to worry about their generator mostly anyway. Although, I have to remember only the falls can keep, or at least pause, the shield regeneration. That's the big thing to note. So, if they are able to keep shooting, then they are able to keep the shields down until that gets fixed. I'm assuming still it's a bug. I'm hoping it's a bug anyway, since it is kind of like an upgrade you would want for almost every match, essentially. Especially, yeah, even for Imperial Navy and all that too. Just the dorsal turret alone and just staggering your fire a tiny bit will keep your opponent's shields down at all times. But we know there's... I didn't pay much attention, but it is a frigate. We can kind of tell just because of the capture rate. Now, do I want to boost? Do I want to boost? I'm pretty much here already, so I don't think it matters. And I could stasis bomb to stall them. Since I'm going to have 3 points, and this will intimidate them some. Oh. Okay, so these are overlords, if I had to guess.
You have seized a strategic area.
Okay, so you did spot my frigates. No, stop. Stop trying to ram each other, please. But we do have a gas cloud. And conveniently got my generator, which is why I like the frigates so much. Oh, there are a bunch of Armageddons. And generators down again. Wow. I think I know what I'm doing here. You're just gonna tank these shots. Just move faster, please. Thank you. Alright. That's a little annoying, but... you're about to burn to death. Is there something I could do here? Actually, I have 2 falls still. You're just gonna You're just gonna wander off for now. Since with that damn generator getting destroyed twice, this makes it difficult for me.
The enemy is seizing one
Okay,
of
now our
your
frigate's
strategic
gone. Just
areas.
keep this going for now, because I'm going to be relying a lot on
The enemy has
this.
seized a strategic area.
And I have engines prioritized, so maybe I could do some good damage here. It helps if they shot the proper target, though.
Yes, Commander. We move together. Acknowledged.
Okay, let's just shoot the one that they are insistent on killing. Since I'm clearly not going to shoot the one that's kind of the easiest to chase down.
Setting sail.
And actually, let's keep these hit then.
Come about with grace.
That was a bad time there, but... hopefully, I can at least start killing these off. That's going to give me a lot more firepower. And apparently they have...
Yes, Commander.
Generators permanently destroyed. Good God.
Swiftly.
Clearly my frigates are not enough in this exchange. Good God. Where's my cruiser with that said? Oh,
The fates decree.
this is embarrassing.
Ride the solar winds.
I'm just flabbergasted by the amount of generator destructions we're getting here. It's not helping me in the slightest, but we have one isolated ship at least.
Let the winds fill.
Now I just gotta take full advantage of my hidden ships.
Acknowledged. Ride the solar winds.
Now, I could kill you easily enough.
Acknowledged.
I was hoping you turned the other way, but it is what it is.
We obey.
Just gotta be mindful of the Markolites and the fact that they do have the Emperor's Tarot.
Swiftly. Until the end.
The
So
enemy
with
has
this down, that
accumulated
gives me a little more
25
breathing room.
strategic points.
Ah, I should have reactivated that ship long ago.
Position. Setting sail.
Kill this frigate for me, please.
Yes, Commander.
And ideally, don't kill...
The void is our
Oh, god damn it.
as the fates
Inconvenient placement there, but
we obey.
if I... They are losing health, although we gotta keep in mind, this has permanently lost its generator too.
Setting sail.
So I gotta wait about 40 seconds or so. And how many frigates do I have left? Because I'm gonna need them for pulsing. And they still have 3 frigates left.
The void is
And their firepower greatly goes down the more of those I kill down.
as the fates decree.
And I stop killing my generators.
Ride the solar winds.
It's not required. And there's the dang group order again, as I was talking about before. But
We serve.
what I'm gonna do instead is just have one frigate go in their spot, so maybe you can group up with everyone else. Since once more of them start dying, hell, I can force them out of that really damn well too. I'm almost inclined to. I just gotta be mindful. If I can get on their backside, since they're kind of... I need to know what arc they're facing, because I could stasis bomb them here and then hit them on the stern.
In our sight.
Well, that was convenient. I got really lucky there.
We move together.
Now, let's conceal this, because now I have a massive window to do damage here.
Swiftly. For Kayla Mencha Kane. Our escort has been destroyed.
And that may have been a mistake.
Cease. Taking new position. Yes, Commander. Ride.
Alright, let me shoot them, because my generator's already gone, for crying out loud, for the one ship that's gonna get caught in the disruption bomb. There, let's see how you like to taste your own damn medicine.
The void is our home.
The enemy has accumulated 50% of
Now, I gotta
strategic
keep in mind,
points.
I did lose the one frigate, alas, so that's a shame. But if I could kill you, that makes my life easier. I just gotta remember, this one has no generator, so it's likely to get shot at most.
Setting sail. Swiftly. The void
Can I finish this off with some good fire results?
come about with grace.
Because that is 2 down, just about.
Swiftly.
Now, just kill this, please.
We obey. Come about with grace.
Now, just take my time. Please stop ramming each other. I know it's this dang inconvenience of me spamming clicking while moving the mouse. You have to keep the mouse perfectly still, or otherwise you get that. And it's really inconvenient. It goes without saying.
We serve.
And it's costing me a lot of damage as a result.
Taking new position
But both their frigates are heavily damaged. I got that going for me.
until the end.
I'm gonna try for another pulse, but once my pulse is down,
As the fates decree.
Alright, so we didn't quite kill the flagship yet.
Acknowledged.
But that's okay, I got 2 other ships.
Setting sail.
Just haven't been doing the best job killing the frigates though. It's a bit of the problem.
Ride the solar winds.
Is there a way I can bait this out? Because after all, they only got 3 ships, and I have no more stasis bombs.
We obey.
So burning the Maelstrom may not have been worth it there, but they're really damn fragile at the same time. So I think what I try to do is go for the killing blow on those frigates.
We serve.
Because we know what my opponent's trying to do there.
We
So let's not allow him to get that.
until the end. Taking new position.
And just take my time with this here. Try to.
As the fates decree.
Because if I scanner pulse too soon, that gives away what I want to do.
Ride the solar winds. Until the end. Enemy in our sight. The void is our home. Come about with grace.
Now that was a huge mistake, I will admit.
Setting sail.
Since my opponent's going to try and boost me down recklessly here.
Hold back before all is lost.
So that probably still cost me a match,
Taking
I'm afraid to say.
acknowledged.
Yeah, why are... Oh yeah, you're mutiny, that's why. Alright, it was going well, but... I lost too many of my frigates there. It had promise. I was at risk of just not being able to harass them effectively enough, and having my Vauls get spotted by a scanner pulse was a big deal too. Cause hell, you know what I could have done? I could have easily stolen the objective from them if I really wanted to. Since they were way back in their corner of the map after all. So, there's a lot of the reason why having my frigates going one at a time is such a big deal there. Because then I take too much damage with it being spread out, but good god, all those generator critical hits. Okay, Adeptus Mechanicus. Same story as it has been before with Adeptus Mechanicus. Try not to get my ships blown up in a blaze of glory. Although I am a little bit terrified now with at least the Imperial Navy match, to kind of having all my generators blow up on me. But with the mobility, especially with the Hellbore, I should be in good shape. It just requires me looking at my fleet more so than what my opponent's maneuver is. Which isn't really a big issue here, because normally... Nope. Maybe I should just delete this match now. Hey, all I have to say is that I don't record all my matches. I'm allowed to have some fun every now and then, right? You would think anyway. Otherwise... I was gonna say something about paying attention to their heading and all that, because it can be really damn important for things like torpedoes, and of course them chasing after me. Oh well, I'll try my best to give them an entertaining show. But due to the fact that I'm kind of hidden and all that, it makes it a little bit difficult. If this was Agiani or, well, I don't want to say Drukari, because they kind of rely on stealth tactics as well. And Agiani have a bit of a reputation with all the sheer amount of torpedoes they have of just obliterating whatever ship connects with, gets introduced to their torpedoes is what I'm trying to say. Otherwise, do I want my cruisers to go through there? Anyways, enough talking, enough chitter chatter, let's get this going. Let's try to anyway. It's still Adeptus Mechanicus, so if I'm not paying attention to the Novacan shots, I'm in a lot of trouble still. Especially for my frigates, which... the Novacans are like the one weapon that can be really damn devastating for my fleet. Since I lose easily half my health for every single one of these that get hit by a Novacan. But at the same time, if I'm paying attention, I should theoretically never get hit. That's going to be the challenge, though.
Till the end.
And we got the traditional, what, 5 cruisers it's looking like here, maybe a battleship. If it's a battleship, then they're light on frigates. We just need to figure out
You have seized
if they have. Ooh, actually, I may just be... And the only thing I don't like about this is there's no real gas cloud except for this one here. And I'm kind of forfeiting this one point too. So how do I want to go about doing this otherwise?
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
Since my cruisers are nowhere near to safely grab this point, never mind the fact they would easily negate it regardless, just due to their cruisers being close proximity, so I like the idea of going over this way, out of range of the Novacans, and relatively safe from the long-range fire. I'm just a little bit weary about boosting, because there's always that uncertainty. Well, that's bad streak of luck there, I suppose. But either way, Adriani would have been an interesting match. Like, I already talked about how that should theoretically play out for me, so long as I dodged the torpedoes really damn well. That would be the X factor that could change things around really damn quickly, especially if they hit my cruisers. Since, yeah, just 8 of those hitting me alone is like 720 damage, so easily I could get annihilated quickly by a full torpedo salvo, so I should try to avoid boosting just for that alone. Hell, I should always hang on to a Vaul's maneuver for that reason alone too, because that can, in a lot of circumstances, dodge a torpedo salvo for me. But so far I heard no scanner pulses or anything of the likes, so I think we're golden. This does give away where my flagship is, or at least my biggest ships. So maybe... Okay. So my opponent has no idea... Well, my opponent is oblivious to the mechanics there, but... Oh, I can kind of rest easy knowing they don't really have much of a frigate unless they cut back and have a bunch of lunars. Which it looks like they don't. I don't quite remember the point lineup, but this is really convenient for me. This may not be all that exciting if I can take full advantage of my Shroud ability. Since this one Hellbore alone is just denying his shield recharge, despite how slow a process it might be.
Until the end. Ride the solar winds.
And this is where I have to be careful and should be seriously trying to burn retros as soon as I'm within engagement range. Since that will help a lot in their longevity, especially if they have no scanner pulses. But if I try and play too much into the Shroud play, my opponent's going to have a poor time.
We move together.
Burnt a little bit of the combustion gauge. Let's see. Actually, let's see about killing this one off there, although I accidentally ungrouped them. So let's fix that. Well, something is clearly bugged. Where the hell is my stasis bomb? It goes without saying that's a bit bugged. And like I said again, I should not move forward too much. My greatest strength is my Shroud and not really the hull field, if I were to be honest. Yeah, there is definitely something glitched out there to an extent. But that is pretty much screwed. Just gotta avoid being revealed and maybe finish it off with the Hellbore. And now, I do have the point advantage as well, or at least the objective advantage, and you should be dead. Okay, one cruiser's grabbing objectives, so if there's a way I could punish that, I'm gonna take full advantage of it. This may be giving away my maneuver a little bit, but I like the opportunity of going around. Actually, maybe I could still do that technically. Although there's three ships here. It's just not giving me the most convenient way to spot them. So this could backfire. Well, that helps a little bit alleviate that concern almost. Oh, that was convenient. They could have got some vision and some shots on there. Oh no, my opponent's kind of getting a little bit scared, but we know where the battleship is. So let's have them be a little scared of that. My opponent is clearly listening for me, though. It goes without saying.
The enemy has seized a strategic
Ooh,
area.
where's the beacon, though? That is really inconvenient there. Yeah, this game is all sorts of messed up. I'm taking damage as well, which I'm not fond of to an extent. Since I don't know where the maelstrom is at. Yeah, there's some weird latency that's not explained by this at all. Because now I see it, after I'm literally out of the field. And apparently you're supposed to be hitting too. Let's keep that in mind. I just activate my assault running. Oh, beacon, that's why. Never mind, that explains that. Actually, I could just grab objectives here. I'm in no rush. Do I have gas clouds? I do have some gas clouds.
Until the end.
And that allows my supercharged void shield to recover too. Okay, that works out fine. I almost forgot they had Nova cannons, which might be a bit of a burden. Actually, let's just send the one frigate over. I might regret that because it can easily get picked off, but... Actually, I can easily grab this and have a little more security with this gas cloud. Since my opponent's just completely running away, I'm fine with that. Actually, let me just compliment and aid with capturing this objective some. I like this idea better. Since now they should be completely out of range, so I'm willing to just Wraithbone shift with that said. Let's see. Just want to make sure I'm getting all my value out of my boost. And I may have to false maneuver to get you to, well, that's not a huge issue, I suppose. Just grab these objectives quickly. Since my opponent decided to forfeit them, so let's... The only downside, of course, again, they have a battleship. So the capture mechanic, they grab this a lot quickly, or incredibly quickly there. But not a big issue yet. Yeah, in fact, I'm probably going to get these before them anyway. So I'll have a nice point lead, and a gas cloud conveniently grab afterwards.
Taking new position.
You have seized a strategic
There.
area.
Now we just gotta conceal everything, and we're golden.
You have seized a strategic area.
We just switched the roles, as it were. It's a little inconvenient with my cruisers having to go in a specific direction, but they're hitting now.
The enemy has seized a strategic area.
So now, that works in my advantage some. If I do say so myself. It's all... Again, I can kind of abuse the fact they have no frigates. But they also have a lot of muscle that I need to take very seriously. There is a bit of a conflict of interest though with like my opponent was saying there. I don't want to give them a bad time. I want to make this enjoyable for them as much as possible. Although it's a tall order to do, because to best win this match, I should be burning retros as soon as I get within 9,000 unit range and just blast them with pulsars until they're at least at risk of revealing me, in which case then I just disengage. Which is definitely the simplest and most convenient way for me to engage my opponent. Since it requires very little micromanagement until they threaten to spot me. Actually, gotta keep in mind that we got company here. Can I do damage necessary is the question.
Yes, Commander.
No, I burnt my combustion gauge there. Huh. I think I understand how the bug exactly works, which is a little bit odd still, but I think I'm starting to understand it. That was not at all what I want, but I guess I'm going with it. A bit of a waste of Maelstrom, but they're in there. Ah, dang it, I burnt the pulsars again. But I have a good opportunity to do damage here. Alright, everything's hitting. I'm not quite gonna get the hit I want on the one ship, but this works well enough, I guess. Except the fact that I flew into my own stasis bomb, which isn't terrible yet. There, engine critical hit there, that's all salt. We're gonna dodge Nova cannons pretty damn well. And both the engines are gone, so let's see about killing this off. Yeah, getting a little bit too close. I take a lot of damage in a hurry if I get revealed needlessly.
Accumulated 75% of strategic points. The enemy has accumulated 50% of strategic
Yeah, this may
points.
not be all that enjoyable there, because again, lack of frigates kind of is a bit of a burden some. And that was a bad engagement there. Or at least bad launch of torpedoes, I suppose. We did deny them their stance, at least. The Star cannons are gonna seal deal here.
As the fates decree.
Anyways, not much more I could do there. It's tricky again to keep this entertained, I suppose. But are we ready to go kind of for the killing blow? This match is almost over if I were to stay back and just harass. Since this flagship takes a lot... Yeah, this flagship's already taken a lot of damage there. It's vulnerable to take a handful more. It would have been really tense, possibly, for me if my opponent had decided to stay here. Now, I'm causing myself a little bit of issues here, I suppose, trying to help our friend out.
Vessel lost.
And now I let myself get in a beacon, so this match is already over otherwise. Thankfully, because that could have easily cost me just because of the beacon being stuck on me. Alright, I gave him what advice I could, I suppose. Maybe not the most exciting type of match, I guess. But oh well. The beacon definitely helps, but frigates are kind of a necessity. And being ready to get the hell out of there with the frigates too, because hell, we've seen with just that Lance fleet against against the Imperial Navy, how quickly at least the Widowmakers or the Cobras can die just to a handful of pulsars. It just barely survives. At least just barely, especially with a Void Stalker that has the convenience of extended range.